Namaskar. Welcome to Prakash on Basics. Today, let's look into the initial part of Vedas, the Karma Kand, the activity based area. As before, first, let's try and find out why and then what related to these issues. To keep track of the sequence of what I have been talking on, uh, and to come back to some of the concepts, I'll repeat a few terms as we proceed in this brief interaction between us. The Rigved, Yajurved, Samved were all formed first or earlier and are known as the Vedtrayi, as I mentioned previously. Naturally, their Karmakanda parts were also formed earlier. Their thrust area was linked to personal benefits, occasionally social benefits also. And that was through appeasement of gods. What do? You praise them using a sukta or a stotra, invoke them by using an avahaniya mantra, perform specific yajnas or rituals meticulously, make offerings in the sacrificial fires, then make some requests and await their blessings. And that was the path followed by everyone. So the first step naturally was the prayers. And the part of Vedas where all these are compiled is known as the Samhita. So the first part of Karma Kanda is the Samhita. It forms the core of the text of each Veda. Samhita comes from Sam plus Dha, which means kept together. Of what? The mantras, of course, and the rituals and their details, everything. Samhita is like the script of a play. Also, each Ved has its own Samhita. Rigved Samhita naturally is the oldest and the largest. It has about 1028 suktas. It also has its own redentions or branches or shakhas. One is the Shakal, and there's one more minorly referred to, which is the Bashkal Shakha. Um, the whole text is divided in two ways, either in the form of mandal or in the form of ashtak, which I told you was groups of eight. These are technically then the chapters. Uh, the Rigved Samhita has 10 mandals or chapters, uh, and that depends on the rishis who have contributed maximum to these mandals. So naturally, that particular mandal is named after that particular rishi. The Gotra mandals, as they are known, are based on rishis Krutsamad, Vishwamitra, Vamdev, Atri, Bharadwaj, Vasishtha, Kanva, and Angiras. That leaves out a couple of others. They are named separately. The second to the ninth are the oldest. The ninth is known as Pauman. The reason is it goes into the details of preparations of the Somaras that we talked of some time back. Uh, these mandals cover many religious aspects, many other areas too. The third mandal, for example, has the Gayatri mantra, which is probably the most popular mantra from Rigveda. Uh, it covers geography. There are details of rivers, Sindhu, Saraswati, Yamuna, Shatadru. Uh, there is only one reference to Ganga. And that is a good indicator that the migration pattern that took place was from the northwest. And by the time the Rigveda was formed, Ganga had not achieved its great importance that it has today. Um, there's history also. The seventh mandal, for example, describes the Dasharaj war, the war between 10 Aryan clans. Uh, Sudas on one side and the remaining nine on the other, in which Sudas won the conflict. Uh, that's a historical development also that is very clearly indicated. There are many suttas or prayers, and they cover a variety of areas. Uh, the 10th mandal, 129th sukta, is the Nasadiya sukta, one of the philosophical ones. It gives the Vedic concept of the origin of the universe. What does it say? Uh, there was nothing before. Why was there nothing? No one knows. Uh, if he does, only probably Brahma knows why that happened. And then suddenly there was the Brahmand, the universe that was created. 4 to 8,000 years ago, these were the questions posed by some of the rishis. The answers for some of them have not yet been found. Our present day ideas coincide with the ideas proposed then. The singularity, a single point from where the universe is supposed to have spontaneously resulted into a big bang and spread out. No one knows why. Probably no one would. 8,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, and today, some of the questions still remain unanswered. Mm, personification and metaphors are a part of Vedic hymns. One of the most popular ones is the Purusha Sukta, again from the 10th mandal. It is also in the Rigved as it is, but also in the Yajurved. Uh, it talks of the cosmic human form. The Purusha is the great cosmic human, grand in totality in all possible ways. He is visualized in his universal, social, and the Yajna form. He is said to have Virat Roop, the largest possible shape that you can have. 1,000 heads, 1,000 eyes, 1,000 feet. He is everything, the source of all living entities. His head is in the Dewlock, the abode of gods, and his feet are firm on earth. He also represents the social structure. The Brahmins, the Brahman, form his mouth. The Kshatriyas, the warrior clan, forms his arms. The Vaishyas, or the businessmen, form his thighs. And the serving people form his feet. These are all four sections of the human society which bring the whole society to forefront if all of them work cohesively together. This is one of those places which has been misinterpreted sometimes, but I'll keep that aside. He is the personification of the Yajna also. Reason is very simple. Yajna is supposed to provide us everything or gift us everything that we desire. And so does the Purusha or the Purusha Sukta. He too will grant and give you everything that you desire. So, Purusha and Yajna are said to be the personifications of each other. Something to get everything, request everything from. Uh, then there is the Usha Sukta, an extremely poetic, descriptive type of a sukta of the dawn. A poetic sukta in a highly religious scripture, something that can happen only in Vedas. Uh, Also in the fifth mandal, there is the Shri Sukta, the prayer for Shri or Lakshmi, the goddess of everything one desires for greatness, or rather, one desired for greatness then. Even today, she is prayed with equal benevolence. Wealth, cattle, grain, elephants, horses, servants, victory, all these form the part of what Lakshmi or Shri can bless you with. So the request is, may all bad things go away, and may you grant me all these above things. You must have heard so many popular names of Indian girls named after Lakshmi. Many of those names are from this Shri Sukta. It's a very common set of names you will come across. Um, Also, as you know, Indians revere the cow the most. The importance of cow is specified in the part of Rigved here. She is said to be Aganya, banned from being killed under any pretext. Then comes the second, the Yajurveda Samhita. It is related to the activities during a yajna. Many of these mantras here are in the prose form. The mantras are related to all religious activities that are mentioned throughout the Ved. They're all included herein. Uh, as I told you, there are two parts. The Krishna Yajurved Samhita naturally has mantras to be uttered during the rituals, and these are in meter or poetic form, and they are interceded with prose statements in the form of mantras that are a part of the ritual process itself. So this is a mixture of the two of them. In the Shukla Yajurved Samhita, the prose and the poetic form of mantras are separated out. The action oriented ones are separate, and the prayers to be presented during the yajna are kept separate. Now, out of the 40 chapters that are there in the Yajurved Samhita, 25 are devoted to performance of major yajnas, uh, like Chaturmasya or Rajasuya or the Vajpayee or the Ashwamedh or the Sautramani and many others. That brings us to the third Samhita, the Samved Samhita. It basically concentrates on the singing techniques in the yajna. So most of the mantras from the Rigved Samhita are included in the Samved Samhita. They are usually from the 8th and 9th mandal of the Rigved Samhita. Its chapters are known as Archik, which actually means the group of ruchas put together. Purvarchik is the first part of the Archiks. It has 585 ruchas, and these are grouped in each of 10, a package of 10. And they are based on the deities like Agni, Indra, Som, and others. The second half, which is the Uttararshik, is similar, but the grouping is on the basis of the yajnas for which they are designed. And many a times they are in groups of three ruchas together. Uh, so the categorization of the Purvarchik based on deities and Uttararchik based on the yajnas together forms the Samved Samhita. The base of Indian classical music is in the Samved Samhita. That brings us to the fourth one, the Atharva Ved Samhita. Uh, it deals totally with different type of topics. They are actually mantras categorized in two different parts. The beneficial ones to oneself and the ones that are associated with preventive or of destructive type of techniques that can be used. The beneficial ones are to bring peace and harmony in the family, in the surroundings, in the village. There are mantras to improve your own health, longevity, wealth. Um, they are meant to protect you from harm in journeys and problems in journeys and travels. There are mantras to reduce the conflict between you and your enemies. And the second group consists of cures of diseases to reduce poisons from snake bites and other insects, to destroy demons, spirits, to overcome spells of black magic put forward by others and your enemies. So all these medicines and other stuff means that the Ayurveda derives its roots from the Atharva Ved Samhita. But actually, the Ayurveda is linked more to the first Ved, that is the Rigveda, as an Upaved. That's a separate issue altogether. And the suktas of Atharva Ved are also sung on many special occasions associated with human life. During childbirth, for example, or during marriages, the mantras that are uttered, sung out. At death, there are special ceremonies carried out. They include mantras from here. If a king is to be coronated, the mantras are used from the Atharva Ved Samhita. Uh, Atharva Ved Samhita basically is from a later period. So the suktas are arranged more systematically, well organized, topic wise in the Atharva Ved. That then is what the Samhitas are. But just prayers are not enough. They must be supplemented by actions such as performance of a yajna. That information is in the second part of Karma Kanda, the second half of Karma Kanda. That is something that I'll talk of next time. If you liked whatever I have said, I'm sure you will be good enough to pass it on to your friends. Like and subscribe to this channel. Until we meet again, Namaskar.